Hello, it's Tom Donald from the London Contemporary School of Piano. Today we're going to look at the things that you have to know, that you must know to play a 12-bar blues. And by the way, if you are a fan of our work at the London Contemporary School of Piano, you need to head on over to our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com, to get your free resources kit, because there's a blues kit inside of there. There are tons of blues exercises that support today's video. And today's video is a really important topic because I see many students tripping up when they play the blues, and I want to help you with some of the things that you really need to know to help you practice the blues more efficiently and to play it more beautifully. Now, the thing with blues, the most important thing that we have to remember is we can systemize this music as much as we want. We can try and make systems and theory out of it, and it's important to have some of that there. But it still requires flexibility. The blues is about flexibility, and you have to be flexible. So sometimes we play it one way, and sometimes we play it another way. So we're going to have a look at that. We're going to always remember that, because sometimes you're going to be playing the blues all by yourself on the piano, but this is a social form of music, the blues is. So sometimes we're not just playing it all by ourselves, sometimes we're playing it with other people. And sometimes we need to imagine that we're in that scenario. Otherwise, it's not really the blues if it's just us locked away in a room all by ourselves. So we have to have that flexibility. We have to bring in some of that spirit of flexibility when we play this music. So the first thing we're going to get started with, a 12-bar blues. The first thing we need to know, and I know I'm stating the obvious, is it's got to have 12 bars. It's a 12-bar blues after all. And the reason why I say that, it's not just to be smart, it's actually because a lot of students, when they play a 12-bar blues, they leave out bars by accident. And I'll take you through the structure, just to be really clear on the structure and to make sure that you're not accidentally making this mistake, because it's an easy mistake to make. So if I just play a 12-bar blues in C, in a really basic format, we get this. So we've got the 4 bars of the C, the chord 1, then the 2 bars of the F7, the chord 4, back to the 2 bars of the C again, 1 bar of the 5, 1 bar of the 4, and then finishing with the last 2 bars on the C, the chord 1. So a blues, a 12-bar blues is effectively chords 1, 4, and 5 spread over the 12 bars. Now, there are many different versions and variations of that with passing chords and extra fancy stuff. There are other ways of playing it, but in its most basic format, it's really C, F, G. I've put dominant 7s on them all, C7, F7, G7. I think you can just play the dominant 7 straight away because it just sounds more bluesier, right, than just playing the clean chords. But you can play it with just triads as well. It's still the same thing. It's still a 12-bar blues. But it's those 3 chords spread over 12 bars. Now, the mistake most students make, a lot of students, when they play it for the first time, it's a very easy mistake to make, is they forget that the first 4 bars stays on that chord 1. So let me demonstrate that. So the mistake we don't want to make is this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's too early to go to the chord 4. We need those first 4 bars to be fully stretched out over just one chord. So there's a lot of space there. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. The 3rd bar. And now the 4th bar. And here we are on the chord 4 for 2 bars. The chord 1 for 2 bars. Chord 5, chord 4, and chord 1 for 2 bars. So I fully stretched out that first chord for the full 4 bars. I didn't sort of rush into the chord 4. Now, you might be wondering why I'm referring to this in numbers and not just the chord names. That's so I have the flexibility to change it into other keys. So we're finding these chords 1, chords 4, chords 5 from the C major scale. Just like you could play it in any other key. I could play it in G major, chords 1, chords 4, chords 5, put dominant 7s on them all to make it sound bluesy. So you can transpose that pattern into other keys. Just choose 2 or 3 keys to start with that you want to practice it in. I'm demonstrating in C, but we're going to be moving beyond C major soon. Now, just one other thing. So it's got to have 12 bars and it's got to have that structure. So go to our resources kit to get that structure, by the way, on our website. That's the basic 12-bar blues in its most basic format. But we can add some extra, what we call turnaround chords. And turnaround chords are really effective. What they do is they just add a little bit more variation to it. For instance, I think the reason why students make that mistake with the first 4 bars is because they subconsciously want to add a turnaround chord. So I'm going to add a turnaround chord now for the first 4 bars, and I'll play the rest of the 12-bar blues. So I'm going to go from chords 1 to chords 4. The first bar, I'm going to go chord 1. The second bar, I'm going to go chord 4. And then the third and fourth bar, I'll be on chord 1. So this is our second version of a 12-bar blues. And I'm going to also add a turnaround at the end to chord 5. Rather than finishing on chord 1 for 2 bars at the end, I'm going to then switch to the chord 5 at the end. You'll hear it. Watch this. Chord 1. Chord 4. Chord 1. Chord 4. Chord 1. Chord 5. And chord 4. Back to the 1. Then to the 5. So that turnaround at the end, that 5, rather than just finishing on the 1, it adds a little bit of that sense that it's going to repeat, because when we are on chord 5, when music in general is on chord 5, including classical music or styles of tonal music, when it's on chord 5, it wants to resolve back to the chord 1, which starts us again through that structure. And a 12-bar blues in a piece of music normally just loops around many, many times, and players are soloing over it and having all sorts of fun inside that structure. And also that beginning, 1, 2, 4, 2, 3, 4. That little turnaround made it a bit more interesting as well, rather than just the static 4 bars of the C7. Not that there's anything wrong with the static 4 bars of that chord 1. There's nothing wrong with that, but it just has a bit more movement if we add that turnaround. But just be careful, a turnaround isn't doing this. It isn't doing 2 bars of the C7 and then moving to the F7. That sort of clutters up the structure, and it sounds like we're at bar 6 if we do that. So the turnaround is only on the second bar, like that. And that's our 12-bar blues structure with a couple of added extras there. So now there are many different ways we can play a 12-bar blues with different harmonizations, but I just want to keep it at that for now because I want to explore this idea of flexibility. And that brings us on to improvising and just imagining that we're in a scenario where we're jamming with other musicians, because let's face it, the piano can get a little bit lonely sometimes. We're just sort of practicing by ourselves. So we need to prepare ourselves, even if you don't have the chance to do this or you're not interested in doing this. We need to psychologically at least imagine we're in a scenario where we're playing music with other people. And perhaps maybe that's something you'll be able to do one day, or it's something you're already doing and you need some help with. But it's a really good way to think. It's a little bit like a tennis player. They don't just want to imagine, if you're taking tennis lessons, that you're only ever going to play singles tennis and play against an opponent. You might want to play doubles. Might be a bit more fun, right? To have some other people around, have a teammate. And that's the great thing about music. It's a social thing. So we need to sort of keep that in the back of our mind. So let's talk about improvising. I'll stay in C major, and then what we're going to do is we're going to move on to some other keys. So if I'm improvising on a 12-bar blues, I have a variety of scales I can use. And this is something that people should know when they practice a 12-bar blues, is what scales can you use? So 2 scales that work really, really well, the major blues scale and the minor blues scale. Now, most people make the mistake of thinking that it's all just about the minor blues scale, and that's it. And that's all blues is. It's just a minor blues scale. But it's not quite as simple as that. Let me show you the minor blues scale. It would be this: C, E flat, F, F sharp, G, B flat, and C. Now don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful scale. It's a great scale to improvise on. But it's not the only scale we will use. We also have the major blues scale. So we're just going to park that minor blues scale to the side for a moment. And I want to talk about the major blues scale, the scale that often students forget to play, or they just don't even know it exists because they got so caught up in the minor blues scale. And the minor blues scale is often just referred to as the blues scale. And I think that's what creates the confusion. Oh, that's the blues scale. There's no other blues scale. There are two blues scales. There's the major blues scale and the minor blues scale. And when you put them together, they're a dream team. So let's look at the major blues scale. The major blues scale comes from the pentatonic scale. So what's a pentatonic scale? This is really important to know because the pentatonic scale is probably the first ever scale of the human race. It doesn't matter what part of the world human beings have come from and made music in those parts of the world. The folk music from all over the world, from all different cultures and all corners of the globe have used the pentatonic scale. It is a purely human scale. It's what we all have in common as humanity, is this beautiful pentatonic scale. And it's still used today, all the time, in pop songs, and it's just never going to go away. So what is it? Pentatonic scale is a major scale with the fourth and the seventh note taken out. So we're going to take out the F and the B. And we get this. You can do that in any major key. You just let's pick D major. D major, I just get rid of the fourth note and the seventh note. And I get the major pentatonic. If you really want to find it in an easy way, all of the black keys is the major pentatonic. So, back to our trusty C is the major pentatonic. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 1. So to turn that into a major blues scale, all we do is add one extra note, and that is a flattened third with the major third. And there we have it, Eureka. We have the major blues scale. It's that perfect mix of the folk feeling of the pentatonic and the blues. So, I'm going to improvise just on the major blues scale to start with. And even though the chords are changing in the left hand, I can stay on that very same scale for the whole thing. It's not the only way to do it. This is just a starting point of practicing, just to show us how effective the major blues is. I'm going to keep it really simple. I'm just going to make up short, simple phrases. So I had the chords in the left hand and the major blues in the right hand. Now, this is where the magic can begin. We can also have the minor blues and the major blues. So I'm going to now play a solo where I just use the minor blues now. I'm going to do the same thing, but with the minor blues. Recapping our minor blues notes. If you want to think of the minor blues in numbers, it's 1, flattened 3, 4, sharpened 4th, or flattened 5th, whatever you want to call it, 5th, flattened 7, 1. A little bit of theory behind that. I think the most important thing, if theory starts to overwhelm you, and this is something you need to know about the blues, is learn it by shape and by muscle memory. Think more about the fingering. 1, 2, 3, and 4 in my fingering, thumb under on the G. Just getting it under the fingers, even if I want to just start with the first 5 notes. And don't forget to head on over to our website to get the crib sheets we have so many great blues material in our resources kit, because you need to sit down at the piano and work these things out. You can't just be watching videos. You've got to get those sheets. Go to our website, get the sheets, and sit down and work them out at the piano. So I'm now going to play a solo with the minor blues. So both scales are nice, the major blues scale, the minor blues scale, but they're much nicer when we put them together. So now I'm going to improvise using a bit of major blues and a bit of minor blues. I'll start with major blues. Now I'm going to take things up a notch with the minor blues. Back to major again. Back to minor again. Back to major. Now you can hear how much better that sounds, right? Could you hear the difference mixing those two scales together? And you can have 2 bars of major, 2 bars of minor. You can play around with it. And in our resources kit, we have some backing tracks of 12-bar blues in different keys. So you can actually play around with the backing track so you're not burdened to left-hand chord accuracy. You can just spend some time focusing on soloing and imagining you're playing with other people, and just put the backing track on. It's a trio backing track or a duo backing track with drums and bass, and you're providing some piano improvisation over the top. And you can finally then get the chance to experiment with both your major and minor blues scale. The best blues lesson for yourself that you'll get this year. Just learning to do that. Such a powerful skill. You're not locked to just one scale. So you can do this in different keys. So we're now going to go over, again, the 12-bar blues. We'll add the turnarounds in a couple of other scales. We don't have time to do it in all 12 scales. Pick your battles with your scales. It's not about just doing it in all 12 scales. I would just choose 2 or 3 keys at a time and open it up slowly. Just for a bit of fun, I'm going to go up in fourths, and we're going to play it now, the 12-bar blues, just a chordal version, again, in the key of F major. But this time I'm going to invent a nice little bass line. And that's another thing that you need to know about blues is if you're going to play it solo, you need to have a bass line in the left hand. And this is a bass line I particularly like to use. There's many different bass lines, and we have other videos on this YouTube channel with other bass lines. We've got a lot of blues material on the channel, so you can check it out. But this is one I particularly like, and it goes like this. Just highlights the dominant 7 quite nicely. So chord 4 would be this, B flat 7, F7, C7, B flat 7, F7. I'll add some chords in the right hand. So that was the 12-bar blues in F. Why don't we do it in B flat 7 now? 3. I'll add I forgot the turnarounds. I'll add the turnarounds this time. So we're going to go up another fourth and play a 12-bar blues in B flat 7. So what are, just a little quiz for you, see if you can think on your feet with this. What are the 3 chords in a 12-bar blues if we're in the key of B flat major? Chord 1, chord 4. Here are some clues for you. Chord 5. So you've got to get you thinking about this as well. I can't just spoon feed it to you. And I know there's a lot of YouTube channels out there where you've got like sparkling keys and MIDI notes falling. I'm not a fan of it because it stops people from thinking. And you can't just have everything spoon-fed to you with piano. I've got to tell you the truth here because I teach people. We've been teaching people at the school for over 20 years now, so we know that those things don't work. So I've got to sort of, I know we're on YouTube and it's a great format. We can spread our message of great education to the rest of the world, but the truth is, you've got to then sort of get yourself off the video, off the YouTube, and you've got to actually sit down at your keyboard and play by yourself. Not with a video in the background, just you, maybe a piece of paper, and very old-fashioned, isn't it? Writing down your ideas, your chords, working things out. I know it's not the fast way, but it's the way that's how you become a musician, by thinking these things through and being present at the piano and having some fun with it as well. We don't have to be totally serious about it, but that's my serious point. So this year, particularly when I'm putting out videos, I'm going to sometimes hold back from giving you all the answers. I'll be like, what's 1, 4, and 5 in this key? And if you've got a question, put it in the comments because, yeah, we love questions. We love helping people. So here we go. And yeah, some of the best ways I can help you is sort of to hold back on the spoon feeding. So now we're going to play it in B flat 7, B flat major with the turnarounds. And there it is in B flat. Let's try it in one more key, E flat. We're going to go up another fourth. I love playing these blues in the flat keys. They're just so beautiful. E flat major. So chords 1, 4, and 5 in E flat major are, what are they? Chord 1 is E flat. Chord 4 is this one, A flat. Chord 5 is this one, B flat. We put dominant 7s on them all. Yeah, and dominant 7s move outside the scale. So another thing about the 12-bar blues you need to know is that you're not playing notes that are just strictly in the major scale. We're not improvising on the pure major scale, you know. That sounds more like classical music than blues then. That's part of the beauty of the blues, is that we're inviting other notes that come from other places, from minor pentatonics, major pentatonics, the blues notes that aren't in the key. And that trips people up a little bit. They're like, oh, why is it outside the key? It's like, well, that's exactly what we're doing. We've got something that's in a major key and we're inviting notes like minor thirds and flattened 5s and flattened 7s that come from elsewhere into the music to create tension. It's beautiful. Because, you know, if we're just inside the diatonic scale without any variation, it might get a bit boring after a while. So here we go, E flat blues now, with the same pattern. So to finish off with, we're going to just pick another key. Let's go back to F major. And we have plenty of videos on our YouTube channel with other blues licks and riffs, so check them out as well. But today we're really focusing on the 12-bar blues and how to be more concise with that and do more with it. What we're going to do, and this is the last thing that I think students really need to know about the 12-bar blues, there's many more things, but I'm just going with what I think are the most important ones, is you need to then, in the left hand, learn how to play some rootless chords. And a rootless chord is where you just get rid of stuff out of the chord that we actually can live without. So if I can play the left hand, I don't have to play an F7 like this. So here's a really cool trick. I can play a 2-note chord in the left hand. I can turn an F7, a note that normally has 4 notes, into just 2 notes. I'm going to get rid of the first note, the F, make it rootless, and I'm going to get rid of the 5th, the C. Now, this can trip people up. It's like, well, is that still an F7? And the answer is, yes, it is. Our ears, in a way, can hear the missing notes. It's quite amazing, isn't it? It's a little bit like you've got primary colours and secondary colours. Sometimes your eyes can sort of fool yourself. You can see a secondary colour and still associate it with the colour that family it comes from. I'm trying to find an analogy. It's the hint of the chord. And this is a really beautiful trick. So I'm just playing the 3rd and the 7th of all these dominant 7 chords. Now, for my B flat 7, here's something really cool. I'm going to go down a semitone on both notes, and that's the 7th of a B flat 7, and that's the 3rd of a B flat 7. There's my B flat 7. So that's an F7, that's a B flat 7, and this will be a C7. Really cool. Would normally be that. It's that. So I'm going to play my 3 chords just with 2 notes each. And I'm going to improvise a mixture of minor and major blues scales together. Wish me luck. Let's do it. Now, the final thing, a couple of licks for the right hand. What licks work well? Well, the key with a lick is you can spend all day collecting different licks and still really know nothing about the blues. And I see students make this mistake all the time. What are the 10 best blues licks? Once I learn them, I'll be all set. No, you won't. I've got to tell you the truth here. And the reason why you won't is because then you're just replicating stuff. And you learn to replicate something, that's great. It's a bit like teaching someone to dance a choreography. And it's a beautiful waltz choreography and it's absolutely gorgeous and they learn it flawlessly. And now they go out to a dancing social event and they're in a crowded room and everyone's dancing salsa or a different style of music and the room's really, really tiny and the choreography was grand and you'll knock all these people over. You have to adjust. And you can't adjust, well then your choreography, well, it just doesn't work anymore. It's lost its context. It's totally meaningless. And that's the problem. People learn all these licks, blues licks. They've bought books. This might be you. You might have bought a whole bunch of blues licks and riffs books. And you've got them sitting on your shelf and you're still at square zero. And that's because you might have learnt them all. Oh, I've learned all these great riffs, but you don't know where to actually put them in the music. So I'm going to give you a couple of clues. Listen to the sound of this wonderful, wonderful blues scale. Now the sound, for instance, of, let's go to the major blues. Back to the major blues in F. Now, not all notes are the same. They all have a different function. This is really important. This is training your ear so you can use these herbs and spices in your playing and put the salt and the pepper in at the right time. You want to combine things. So, for instance, that's the root note. So the root note sounds very much like home. It sounds very passive in a way because it's sort of predictable, isn't it? Second note is sort of a step above. Now, that note sounds nothing like the root note, right? It's very dissonant. It's even buzzing today on this piano. Don't you love it? It's so bluesy. So then, Then you've got the third note, major and minor, happy, sad, at the same time, right? Different flavors. You've got to play with it. The fifth note, a bit more passive, like the first note. Sixth note, a little brighter. So you're going to treat them all like they're exactly the same and play like this? No. So that's how you generate your own riffs. You use the power of these notes. So I might play around with that minor third. That buzzy minor third. Yeah, don't you love that? See, I've just made a riff up because I'm leveraging the power of the notes. I might slip around with the minor third and the third. Yeah, that's nice. I might play around with the fifth and the sixth. Another. Listen to the sound of the notes and create your own riffs. It's quite nice if you want something a bit more structured. You need a bit more structure. It's quite a thing. The blues has a lot of structure, but it needs that creativity still. So you've got to balance the two things out. But you could go up on the major, down on the minor. But don't go down so quickly. Now that's a very dissonant note, so use that wisely. Well, I hope today's helped you. You can combine notes together as well. Don't forget to head on over to our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com, to get the free resources kit. There's tons of great blues stuff in there. Backing tracks. Get to the piano and start playing. And if you really want some expert help at hand with your blues playing, our coaches here at the London Contemporary School of Piano, they work with students all over the world. And if you want to join our wait list, we often have a little bit of a waiting list, but do head on over to our website and ask about our coaching, our one-to-one lessons and coaching. Doesn't matter where you live in the world, this can be done remotely with the wonders of technology. Our teachers are specially trained in a very rare field of combining wonderful, wonderful education and being able to fit the education to you and your style of learning, and at the same time are incredible musicians. So it's this rare mixture of incredible musician and incredible teacher who really, all of our teachers love solving challenges, your musical challenges. So if you really want to take your playing to the next level, you might want to do that, or you might want to check out some of our online courses as well, such as the Complete Musician Program, which gives you a lifelong blueprint and structure to combine all of these elements in your playing. But for the meantime, let's play some 12-bar blues.